Have you ever noticed how some children seem to give up at the first sign of difficulty, while others keep going even when something seems impossible? Now, imagine that this difference has nothing to do with talent or intelligence but rather with how we teach our children to face challenges. What do you do when your child gets frustrated because they can't complete a puzzle or received a poor grade on a test? Many parents, without realizing it, reinforce the idea that some skills are innate while others simply can't be learned. But what if I told you that this could determine how your child will face difficulties for the rest of their life? Today, we're going to talk about the growth mindset and how this approach can transform the way children deal with mistakes, challenges, and learning. I'll show you simple and effective techniques to encourage this mindset in daily life, and at the end, I'll reveal a common mistake that many parents make without realizing it, one that may be limiting their child's potential. So, stay with me until the end, because what you'll learn here could make all the difference in your child's future. If small changes in the way we speak can significantly influence children's behavior, imagine the impact of a mindset that teaches them to grow instead of giving up. This is the growth mindset, a concept developed by psychologist Carol Dweck, which demonstrates how the way we perceive our abilities directly influences our success and learning. But what does this mean in practice? It means that children who believe they can improve through effort and dedication are more likely to persist through challenges, while those who think they were born with fixed limits tend to avoid anything that seems difficult. The good news? This mindset is not innate, it can be taught and nurtured throughout childhood. Now, let's understand why this works. The human brain is incredibly plastic, meaning it can create new neural connections throughout life. When we praise effort rather than talent, we help children understand that learning is a continuous process. This means that every time your child faces a challenge and works hard to overcome it, their brain is literally growing stronger, forming new connections, and becoming more efficient. But here's the most important detail: the way parents and educators communicate can either accelerate or hinder this process. If a child frequently hears, "You're so smart," they may develop the belief that they must always appear intelligent, and when they encounter something difficult, they might feel like their intelligence is at risk. On the other hand, if they hear, "I really like the effort you put into this task," they understand that their value isn't in immediate success but in the learning process. Let's look at a practical example. Imagine your child gets a low grade in math. If you say, "Maybe you're just not good with numbers," they may conclude that there's nothing they can do to improve. But if you say, "Math is challenging, but the more you practice, the easier it will get," they'll learn that their abilities are not fixed and that effort brings results. This applies to every area of life. In sports, for instance, a young athlete who hears, "You have talent," may feel threatened when facing a stronger opponent. Meanwhile, one who grows up hearing, "Consistent training makes all the difference," knows that success isn't about talent alone but about dedication. And here's the most common mistake: praising only a child's intelligence or talent without emphasizing the process. At first glance, this may seem positive, but studies show that children who grow up being praised only for their natural ability tend to avoid challenges to avoid the risk of failing. The key, then, is to teach your child to see challenges as opportunities for growth. And to do that, we need to change how we interact with them daily. In the next chapter, you'll discover simple and effective techniques to implement this change at home and ensure your child develops confidence and resilience. Now that you understand the importance of a growth mindset, the question is, how do you put it into practice? Small changes in how we speak and react can have a profound impact on children's development. Here are some simple strategies you can start applying today. White heavy check mark: praise the process, not just the outcome. Often, when a child does something well, we automatically say, "Wow, you're so smart." But as we've seen, this type of praise can create pressure for them to always appear intelligent rather than encouraging them to keep learning. Instead, try saying, "I love the effort you put into this task. You really dedicated yourself to achieving this result." This teaches that learning is a continuous process, not just an innate talent. White heavy check mark: turn mistakes into learning opportunities. When a child faces difficulties, they need to learn to see mistakes as part of the path to success. If your child gets a math problem wrong, instead of saying, "You got it wrong again," try asking, "What can we learn from this?" This kind of approach reinforces the idea that every mistake brings an opportunity for growth. White heavy check mark: teach the magic word, yet. Words make all the difference. If a child says, "I can't do this," add just one word, "You can't do it yet, but with practice, you'll learn." This helps children understand that difficulty is not permanent and that learning happens over time. White heavy check marks show your own learning journey. Children learn by observing adults. If they see their parents giving up easily or avoiding challenges, they will likely adopt the same mindset. Share your experiences. At first, I also struggled with this, but I kept practicing and got better. This teaches them that no one is born knowing everything and that effort makes all the difference. White heavy check mark. Avoid labels like bad at this or good at that. Phrases like you're bad at sports or you're not good at math can limit children and make them believe they are incapable of improving. Instead, try saying, with practice and dedication, you can improve a lot. This encourages effort rather than accepting a limit imposed by labels. Now, imagine how these small changes can transform a child's behavior. Instead of avoiding challenges, they begin to see them as natural and even fun. The fear of making mistakes decreases, and their confidence grows. If you start applying these techniques daily, you'll notice a change not only in your child's behavior but also in how they perceive the world. But what is the real long-term impact of this change? In the next chapter, we'll explore how today's small actions can shape more confident, resilient, and well-prepared adults for the future. When a child learns from an early age to see challenges as opportunities, the impact extends far beyond childhood. This mindset shift shapes their character, self-confidence, and resilience, preparing them to face life's difficulties with much more balance and determination. Think about how this reflects in the future. Children raised with a growth mindset adapt better to change, persist even when things seem tough, and see mistakes as part of learning. When they reach adulthood, these same skills make all the difference in the workplace, relationships, and the pursuit of personal goals. Now, compare two types of adults. The first, raised in an environment where failure was seen as a sign of incompetence, tends to avoid challenges and feel discouraged in the face of difficulties. The second, who learned early on that mistakes are part of the process, sees obstacles as opportunities to grow. Which one is more likely to succeed and find satisfaction in life? Great athletes, artists, and entrepreneurs we admire failed countless times before achieving success. What set them apart? The belief that they could improve through effort and learning. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team but trained relentlessly and became one of the greatest players in history. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb, but each mistake was a lesson. These stories show that resilience comes from the willingness to try again, even when things seem impossible. Self-esteem is also directly impacted by this mindset. Children who learn to value the process, not just the outcome, develop greater confidence in themselves and are not easily discouraged by failure. Instead of avoiding challenges out of fear of making mistakes, they feel motivated to try, knowing that every experience contributes to their growth. But there is one factor that can undermine all of this: overprotection. When parents try to shield their children from difficulties, they prevent them from developing the resilience needed to handle future frustrations. And that's exactly the common mistake we're going to talk about now. If there's one thing that can hinder the development of a growth mindset, it's overprotection. Many parents, driven by love and the desire to prevent their children from suffering, end up removing every obstacle in their way. But without realizing it, this approach can be harmful in the long run. When a child never faces real challenges, they don't develop the ability to deal with frustration. This can lead to insecurity, fear of failure, and even excessive dependence on their parents. After all, if they've never had to solve problems on their own, how will they trust their own abilities when faced with bigger challenges? A classic example happens at school. If a child forgets their supplies or doesn't complete their homework, many parents rush to solve the problem for them. But by doing this, they send the message that the child doesn't need to take responsibility for their own actions. The same goes for small frustrations. If a child loses a game and the parents immediately try to compensate or change the rules so they can win, they're teaching them that failure should be avoided at all costs. A parent's role is not to remove difficulties from their child's path but to teach them how to face those difficulties with confidence. And that brings us to the final key point: how to ensure this change happens in practice.